Summer I Turned Pretty, all by Jenny Han, already had Blackpink songs, but only EXO Kitty was the only one that made me realize it. I guess because it made me realize how much I love the song Pink Venom. Pink Venom by Blackpink, it's still a bop, and it'll still be a bop, and it'll still be my favorite Blackpink song ever. Um, what's this? Yeah, so that's my journey to Blackpink was from EXO Kitty. Um, yeah, but it's still exciting
Right.
You can sleep when you're dead, Miss Cubby.
Episode 3 of XO, Kitty starts at Dee's house where he is deliberating signing the NDA for Yuri's father. Since he assumes that the real Dee and Yuri were in a relationship, Sung Jin had asked Dee to sign the NDA to protect his daughter. Dee's sister is excited to learn about the relationship, but his father worries that Dee has been caught up in something serious now that he's going viral online. Dee learns that his sister is being bullied in school because of their financial status and promises to buy her new shoes with the money he makes with his internship. That morning, Kitty gets ready for school and Q starts getting along with her. Minho is still cold towards her, but Dee stops him from reporting Kitty to the dorm warden. Dee promises to explain everything to Kitty. Meanwhile, Yuri texts Juliana telling her how much she missed her. A flashback shows Yuri's maid finding her when she was about to make out with Juliana. Back to the present, there are paparazzi outside school, trying to capture Yuri and Dee together. Dee gives her the contract he signed and they pretend to walk hand in hand. Dee asks Yuri if he can tell Kitty that they were fake dating. She warns him about the information going public, but then tells him that she was dating Juliana and trying to keep that a secret from her parents.
This is what I should have shown you
she's
in
missing
last
her girlfriend, but Dee helps her
video.
avoid the paps when he takes Yuri on a piggyback ride.
So this
Kitty
weekend
spots
will
them
be
together and is convinced that Dee is fake dating
twice.
Yuri. The people at school call
One
Kitty the
week
Portland stalker, but she tries to ignore the negative
anniversary,
comments. Yuri asks Dee to write her
and
summer
1 week
homework, so
anniversary
Dee leaves the
also
essay
of
with Yuri and mentions how he cannot
the
wait
news
to
of
stop fake
executing
dating her.
the new
Just then,
season
Juliana
3.
sneaks into
So,
the school and
yeah.
tells Yuri that she's being transferred because they were caught. Yuri is sorry for her, but Juliana asks Yuri to go through the year and promises to come back to school soon. The two girls make out in the janitor's room while Yuri leaves for class. Professor Lee meets Jin to tell her that Yuri had asked Dee to write her summer homework essay. Gina sides with her daughter and asks Professor Lee to prove that Dee had written the essay for her. Professor Alex helps Kitty reach her class and greets Professor Lee, who is also on his way to the same class. Professor Lee is curt with Alex, leaving him confused about his attitude. Kitty notices Yuri and Dee sitting together in class and is further pissed. After class, Professor Lee tells Kitty that she was way below her peers in terms of grades and needed to get tutored. During the lunch break, Kitty is singled out by all the other cliques, which forces her to sit with Q. Kitty tells Q that she thinks Dee's relationship with Yuri is fake, but he thinks that Dee is confused because he's seeing Kitty in person after so long. Kitty can see that Dee is miserable around Yuri and is sure that she'll get Dee to confess. Q is distracted by a Frenchy ex-PAT student, Florian, and Kitty puts on her matchmaking shoes to get them two to date. Yuri gets called into Gina's office and is asked to submit her credit card for cheating on her summer homework. Yuri strikes a deal with her mother, which suggests that she'll have permission to go to a DJ festival in Iceland if Yuri keeps her behavior in check. Kitty makes it to chemistry class after lunch and finds herself seated next to Minho. The two argue, which ends with Kitty telling the entire class that Minho used to be in a diaper commercial as a child. Minho is embarrassed after the class breaks into laughter, which leads to Professor Alex allowing the students to change their lab partners. Kitty somehow manages to get Florian to sit with Q. After class, Kitty goes to the library and is introduced to Dee, who will be her tutor. She finds photos of her mother and hopes to find her place at the school as well. Eunice tells Yuri that Kitty had outed Minho for being in the commercial. Yuri wonders how Kitty knew something so persona, while Eunice blames Dee. Yuri is worried and interrupts Dee and Kitty at the library. Just as Dee tries to confess that his relationship with Yuri is fake, Yuri shows up. She tells Dee that Kitty has revealed Minho's secret to the entire school. Yuri secretly warns Dee about the NDA and leaves. Dee is confused and shocked and decides to end things with Kitty telling her that his relationship with Yuri was real. Dee gives Kitty back her necklace and leaves her at the library. That night, Q tells Kitty that her ploy worked and that Florian has followed him on social media. A hospital tag falls out of Kitty's mother's photo book. She is shocked to discover that Eve, her mother, had a child in South Korea in 1993, way before she was born. Episode 4 of XO, Kitty starts with Kitty being reassigned to a room in the girls' dormitory. She heads in and finds that her new roommate is a messy gamer who has left the room in a state. Kitty goes through the next few days trying her best to live with the dirty girl. She talks to Professor Lee about it, but he tells Kitty that there are no other empty rooms in the dorms. She's just going to have to try and make it work. That evening, Kitty has a chat with Q and tells him how much she missed talking to Dee, her best friend. Q tells Kitty that Yuri is not an outdoorsy person, asking her to join the nature club on a hike the following morning. The next morning, Dee and Q are leaving for the hike, but Minho coaxes the information of Kitty joining them out of Q. Q immediately gives Yuri a call and tells her that Kitty and Dee will be spending more time together. Yuri shows up at the hike and keeps Dee from talking to Kitty. Minho shows up as well and meets Madison. They share a moment when Dee helps Kitty from falling, but Yuri interrupts them, mocking Kitty. The two girls end up in an argument which prompts them to race to the top of the hike. Kitty reaches the topmost point first and shares her experience about her mother with Yuri, who follows along. Yuri also shares how she was neglected by her mother as a child. The two girls start to bond, but Yuri acts possessive when Dee joins them. She asks Kitty to take a photo of the couple. Kitty notices the hospital from her mother's tag in the background of the photo and decides to rush to the hospital. Kitty makes it to there and asks the receptionist to see her mother's delivery records, but is dismissed due to patient confidentiality. Kitty uses her matchmaking skills when she gets the nurses to fall for each other before sneaking into the records room. She's caught by the hospital staff but asks to call Professor Alex, who comes just in time to save her. Meanwhile, Q asks Florian and some other friends for a movie night, but Minho rains on his parade when he starts talking about the behind-the-scenes trivia of the movie because his mother acted in it. Florian ends up leaving but asks Q to keep their next movie date limited to the two of them. D goes on his first day as an intern at Yuri's father's company. There, he is made to sit at a desk with no substantial work whatsoever. At the same time, Alex manages to save Kitty from the hospital staff. Kitty talks to Alex about his birth and adoption into an Australian family, asking him if he ever wanted to meet his birth parents. Kitty suddenly comes to the realization that Alex could be his half-brother. Kitty rushes to the boys' dorm room to tell Q about Alex. Meanwhile, Dee apologizes to Minho for telling his secret to Kitty. Minho is sure that Dee still has feelings for Kitty, but he tells Dee that he found a sleep stream of Kitty on the internet. Inside Q's room, Q is finding it hard to believe that Alex is Kitty's half-brother, but she claims that he's probably at school to learn more about Eve's song as well. Q asks Kitty to calm down, but Dee and Minho tell Kitty that she's being filmed while she sleeps. The four decide to let Kitty bunk in the boys' dorm room, and she agrees to bunk with Q while Minho and share the same room.